Hey, what up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Creased. Now, I know I'm not the only one that was bugging out on the Super Bowl. Dre, Snoop, 50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick, Mary J. Blige, even had Anderson .Paak on the drums. But Sneaker World went nuts for these pair of Jordan 3s. Now these are essentially like a fire red 3 with an icy sole, and then had the E logo instead, the Jumpman on the front, and then hi, my name is Slim Shady on the back. These are incredible. People started going nuts. Maybe we can get a pair, but you probably can't. See, Nike and Eminem have had a relationship for many years, and good luck getting a pair, because unlike, say, Travis Scott or Kanye or Skepta or even Kendrick Lamar, who have had sneakers that they've released with Nike or Adidas or wherever, and you know, they've been harder to get, but they have had a general release. You know, they're going in boutique joints, raffles, everything like that. These they don't, and M wasn't the first person for this to happen to. So what we're going to do today is go through a bunch of rappers and their PEs. Are they PEs? Because they're not really players, so maybe they're SEs, they're special editions. Maybe they're bespoke, but we're going to go through a bunch of previous stuff that have been released that if you had these in your hand, they're basically a house deposit. Now, believe it or not that long ago, Air Force Ones were actually more sought after than anything. There was a period of time where beyond white on whites, people were collecting patent leather joints, different colorways, collabs, everything like that. And then you had a bunch of artists that did signature Air Force Ones. Fat Joe had a bunch, whether it be like a Terror Squad or his own Fat Joe type joint. So many of them. And recently he actually sold a bunch of them to 2J's, his Urban Necessities. I feel like you could actually buy them. Now they're going to be crazy prices, and I'm not going to be paying that. Plus I'm not a size 12, but when they were going through the collection initially, like, you're seeing a bunch of unreleased stuff, like different colorways, samples, all with like Terror Squad or Fat Joe or Joey Crack on them. He had that many that I can't really just go one by one, but we're just gonna show a few here. Keeping with Air Force Ones, Jay-Z, Rockefeller Records, they had a Rockefeller Air Force One. They actually, I feel like they released them to the public at that point in time, and then recently they re-released them, but in extremely limited numbers. I feel like maybe that was even a friends and family type thing. But all it was, you know, white on white, supreme quality on the back, Rockefeller Records. And for maybe it was an anniversary year they did it. They involved Biggs and they did it properly, but they're something I'd like. But I feel like the Shady Record version, which is basically the same thing but with Shady Records on the back, that's one I'd like. Sticking with Air Force Ones, we did mention Shady Records. There was also a pair that was released with the Encore album, and I actually, when I was trying to find images for them, found someone selling a pair, but I'm not willing to spend 20 grand on them. These were a used pair, as you'll probably see here in a second, and you know, one of 50, which is crazy limited, right? They got the little, you know, the E on there, there's all these different things, Encore on the tongue, but 20 grand. These are from 2004 too, so I know Air Force Ones hold together better than most shoes. They have been worn, so there's less chance of crumbling, but these are gonna crumble eventually, so 20 grand, nah. Before we get into Jordans, I just want to mention a really weird one that Eminem did. It was actually a silhouette called an Air Max Burst. Now, I'll be honest, I've never actually seen these on the shelf, even you know, a GR release of these. I don't remember them, except for a few years ago searching through what shoes Eminem has done. And outside of Jordans, you know, the Air Force Ones we mentioned, he also did like a Bad Meets Evil Converse collab, which was kind of cool, but I'm not a big Converse person, so not for me. Believe it or not, Macklemore actually has a Jordan 6. He has 2 colorways in the Jordan 6, and one of them is a green colorway, which was initially frowned upon because it is well known that Michael Jordan does not like the color green. Except for when it comes to money, yeah? They did these green ones, they did a clay version, and for me, like, I'm sure the quality's nice and everything, but they're not that fancy to me. But a bunch of people want these. Like Fat Joe recently was on a video with Complex saying that he met Macklemore, got his number, was going to get him, and literally when he went to message him the next day, he changed his number. So, yeah, I don't know. Somebody like him. Now, I don't know if this falls into the category of a rapper, but Mark Wahlberg used to go by Marky Mark and used to rap a little bit, so we're going to mention him here. But yeah, he's got his own Wahlburger for his burger chain, Jordan 4. Very similar to the Manila that just came out recently, but obviously with his own Wahlburger logo. I'm going to say it, like, hesitation with Macklemore, not so much with Mark Wahlberg. Maybe it's a status thing, but yeah, these 4s are insane, and like, if they weren't worth an entire house deposit, I might potentially try for them. If Nike by You ever does a Jordan 4, there are so many on this list that I'm going to be trying to do, or like get close to the colorways. DJ Khaled has a bunch of Jordan 3s. I believe he's got other stuff, but the most popular are the Jordan 3s. I think the first one is called We the Best, second one's called Father Assad, but he's basically got like a Jordan 3 in a red and a blue, which a couple years later they ended up releasing a GR sort of version. Now, they're not as nice as his version. I feel like he's got more the, you know, the top end materials and everything, but they're still nice, you know. And he's somehow still in the meetings, so I don't know how good a businessman he is, because he's still in their meetings. They just seem to never end. We did start this off talking about Eminem and the Jordan 3, but he's done a lot with Jordan. Famously, the Undefeated 4 was meant to be his colorway, but he went with another colorway, Undefeated Slips In. People still associate that one with Eminem, even though it kind of isn't. But the one he did do was this Encore 4, and I'd be honest, the Undefeated colorway is a much better colorway, so maybe he wanted to tie this into, like, you know, the song he's got called Superman or whatever. But these are another shoe that, you know, super limited, friends and family only. To get a pair, you're spending a house deposit. You're spending like probably 20 grand easy, which, regardless of how much I enjoy shoes, never going to be worth it to me. Now, I don't know, I think he may have actually done this Jordan 2 before even that one, and I believe the text on the back is actually the lyrics to The Way I Am. I feel like I don't mind these, but in terms of his collabs that he's done, I'd probably rank him just above the Air Max Burst. Because, yeah, I don't know, I don't like these as much, but I like the concept because, you know, it does feel, there's an Eminem vibe to it, especially around that time. He was running around wearing hockey masks, chainsaws, all that. So the colorway, the lyrics, how it's patterned, it works. But for me, I don't like it as much. But in saying that, I've probably got a similar view to other people because they're not going for as much. Now I'm going on StockX. I believe I have seen them on GOAT and eBay as well. Jordan 2, we'll just write Jordan 2 Eminem. That should come up. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I was right. So like, what's my size? Closest to my size about 15, but you know, their highest bid's around 7. Last pair sold was 4, so yeah, cheaper end of the scale. Kind of cool, but also not crazy. It's not a grail for me. What is a grail for me is these joints right here, the Carhartt 4s. Now, Eminem has had a long relationship with Nike, Jordan. He's also had a long relationship with Carhartt. He's done a bunch of collabs in terms of clothing with Carhartt. Now these here, I don't know what input Carhartt actually had on this, but they're the Carhartt 4s, and they're insane. And the way they launched this, Eminem was actually a backer of StockX, and they had a raffle to where you could buy it like a traditional style raffle. You could buy like, spend $10, you get this amount of entries, blah blah blah, and it all went for charity. So every pair went for charity. I think I spent about $70 on raffle entries, and I didn't win. Because if I had, I would have a shoe in my collection that's worth about 20 grand, which I don't have. So don't come checking for me. I do actually know someone with a pair. I don't know how authentic they are, but I have seen photos of them. I haven't seen them in hand, so you don't know. You know, he knows his thing about sneakers, but it's still quite unbelievable that he would have this pair. But one day we might show him on camera. And in terms of rappers, you know, we mentioned before like Kendrick Lamar, Skepta, Kanye, Travis Scott. They release certain ones to the public. They release joints, and they are a limited amount, but they're not like 1 of 20, 1 of 50, 1 of 1 in the case of, you know, some of the samples that Fat Joe has. I personally don't buy into the hype. It's more if I like the shoe, and that's where like the Encore 4s, even though there's hype around it, I think the color is terrible. But, and I also think the Travis Scott 4, the original one, took a lot from that shoe. And I think that's where a lot of the hype was, you know, the initial hype for that shoe was that it's very close to this, but you actually may be able to get it. In terms of a blue and red 4, that these joints, the winterized 4s, do the trick for me. I was keen on these when they first dropped. One, because the quality looked good from images, and it really is. 2, because I was like, this is the closest I can get to a pair of Encores without having to pay a crazy amount. When the initial images dropped, I thought there would be that type of hype behind them. Lo and behold, the sneaker market at the time wasn't what it is now. These sat for months. I could have got like 5 pairs of these, and I honestly wish I at least got a second pair, but I'm stoked with the one. I've definitely worn them. They're one of my favorites. They got like a winterized material in here. They're meant to be for winter, but I'll wear them wherever. I'll do what I want. The only rapper collab shoes I have, which you've probably already seen if you've watched all my videos, we got the Skepta Air Max Deluxe, which I haven't worn yet. I think I've tried on, but I haven't worn yet. And then I've also got the Kendrick Lamar React 55. React Element 55. I'll gotta admit, I bought into the hype a little bit with these, but it was a silhouette I was already looking at. I like the colorway, it's very clean. The only issue I have with these is this material here, which, you know, cuts you up. Absolutely cuts you up in terms of blisters. I think I wore these out one night. Definitely tell they've been worn. I wore these out. I wore these on a night out, and they got absolutely clapped. But I was able to clean them, so I'm not mad at it. I think I need to wear these again soon. Maybe I just need to wear them with a different type of sock. I just feel like this type of shoe, you want like the no-show socks, but for the case of the blisters, can't really do that. So, but what do you guys think? Out of all these ones we've showed you here, what do you like the most? Do you buy into the hype, or do you just like the colorways? Did you know that these existed? Did you not know they existed? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll just keep coming back with that dope content. Peace.